Welcome to episode 6 of the podcast. Today we are honored to be joined by the Nigerian lion, Samson Dauda. Samson is an Ifbb pro bodybuilder and he was born in Nigeria but now lives in the UK. He is renowned for his posing, dedication and talent. He has faced and overcome many challenges to get where he is today, and we're so excited to share his story. Welcome, Samson, and thanks so much for taking the time to come onto our podcast.
Thanks for having me, guys. Really appreciate it. Especially, I've never had a opportunity to do an interview from actually Africa, my hometown. So this is definitely a pleasure for me. So definitely feel honored to be doing this.
Yeah, that's why we love having Africans on here to tell the story of your sort of bodybuilding journey and all of that. Well, we've had the Libyan lion, we've got the Nigerian lion. Now we're waiting for the Kenyan lion.
One day.
Sure. We all coming out. We all coming out one by one, right? So
yeah. Exactly.
It's great to have like Samson on, and it was good to have Kamal on, because I think where bodybuilding's still new in Africa, that I think it's important for a lot of the guys who are competing or trying to compete to have like this inspiration. But actually, if you work hard, there is potential to go places.
Yeah, it's not an overnight thing.
Oh, sure, 100%. I agree with that.
Yeah, well, I think that's could you tell us a bit more about yourself, Samson, and kind of your whole story.
So born in Nigeria, and parents kind of moved to the UK for study when I was 15 years old, and parents just basically wanted me to get an Western education, so came over to the UK. And obviously kind of played loads of different sports, football, basketball, and did my studies and everything else. But I never really, kind of going to the gym and lifting weights never been anything on my agenda at all. Never something I've ever thought about. We see Arnold Schwarzenegger, we see all the big musty guys on TV, but never thought it was something cool to. So as kind of time goes on, playing sports here in the UK, sort of kind of graduated from one sport to another. I mean, first I started off with basketball and football when I was in school, and then went through college playing the same sport. And after that, we just kind of say, okay, time to get a job and kind of focus more on that part of things. But I never stopped kind of playing those sports on the side. So after a while, it kind of came to the point where I started to switch town to a new town. So first we were living more in London. And then from there on, we then moved out to the outskirts of London, Essex, and it's more of proper English side of of living on that side. So I then kind of picked up new sport of playing rugby, and from that point on, it's like I was always very skinny as a kid, very 11 stone, very skinny guy, So when taking up someone say, look, you ever try like. One of my friends just introduced me, say, hey, come down, play for my rugby team, you're really fast. So, give it a try. So I played rugby, played my first game of rugby and did all the training and stuff. And, they was like, man, you're really fast, you're really good, you just need a little bit of, So at that point, just started going to the gym and just lifting weights. Didn't really know what I was doing, just my thing was just, just listen, watch what happens, So kind of carried on through that for a while, and wasn't really, I wouldn't say I was getting anywhere. I didn't really have a diet plan and control or anything like that. I just lifted weights. And then I met my missus, my girlfriend, I'm in the gym. And she sort of started coaching me and started giving me an idea of, okay, you got to eat right. You got to, it's not just lifting weights. It's a whole lifestyle that goes behind it, getting the meals and everything else and putting the right nutrition in order. So after that, kind of like suddenly started putting on size. And the guy in the rugby pitch and everything, rugby club and everything, they started noticing. And, after, I think I was probably there for about, and then they said, no, I was putting on size, but I was still staying quite lean at the same time. And we were in the changing rooms once, and we're stripping off and changing off. And one of the guys came up to me, man, have you ever thought about doing a bodybuilding show? And I'm like, what? You mean like go on stage in pants and stuff like that? I'm like, nah, man, come on. I'm a man's. It's like I'm a man's man, man. We ain't gonna do none of that stuff, you know. So that was the first time someone ever mentioned it to me. Dismissive, like, yeah, whatever, not my thing. So as the months went on, my girlfriend then came up to me and she then said, like, you ever thought about it? Like maybe something, because you're very balanced and you work really hard and your structure will carry you a long way in the sport. Maybe something to think about. So, with this, when a few people started saying, coming into the back of my head that maybe it's something worth trying after all. Let's just see how it goes. At this time, I was like, what? I think I was age 28 at the time. So it was like, okay, but what are the chances of actually going anywhere with it? But then obviously I started looking more into the sport and actually realizing that actually that age is still quite early in the sport of bodybuilding. While every other sport, by that age, you're pretty much done, you're reaching past your prime, reaching your end. While bodybuilding, you just started now. So I thought, you know what, hell, why not? I'll give it a go. I'll do one show, see how I feel about it. Basically picked out a local show where it was just here in my closest town. They basically had a show on. And I basically just registered for it without any forethought, just like, okay, put my name down. 2014, and it was like the beginning of 2014. The show was in April, so we were kind of like, okay, we signed up. Let's start working. So at the first time, we kind of finally, for once, we basically got the training order, started planning my diet for that show, and in that whole aspect of it, of really pushing and training for the first time like a bodybuilder, not just like an athlete or rugby player. Actually training like a bodybuilder to try to increase muscle groups and stuff like that. That sport, that's where I started falling in love with it slowly. I was like, okay, you can get into it. So we kind of did all that. I remember the local show going to register for it. I registered for like the first timers, class for before. So day of the show shows up, did that class, and then as soon as it came on, won the class straight away. And we were like, wow, okay. At this point, I'm like, yes, this is, hard work, goal achieved. I'm going. So, but then they was like, okay, you know what, man? The promoter of the show, yo, kid, I really think that maybe you should jump in with the big boys, do the men's open, give it a go. I think you go with the thing. And that was on the same day. I'm like, hell, I'm already got what I came for. So why not? I'll jump in as well, do that too. So at the end of the night, go on stage again with the bigger guys. So I remember like backstage, and I remember pumping up and everything else. And even the whole point of it, somebody came up to me and they said, look, and you know what? I think you got a good chance of winning this class. And I'm like, are you for real? I'm like, look, the guys I'm seeing backstage were huge. You're thinking, now, come on, man, seriously, yeah, come on. So we kind of like, okay, came on stage again, started posing, did everything else. And then the results came out and they call in third place. I'm like, okay, I'm not third. They call second place. I'm like, oh, all right. And then they called me out as first place as the winner. So at that point, I'm like, oh my God, what the hell? Seriously? And for me, that point is like, it really just opened my eyes to a whole new doors of it. And I have people come up and say, man, bro, look, potential for this sport. You know what? If you really look into actually taking it seriously, we think you can turn pro and go all the way with it because you got good potential for it. And for the first time, I think is the idea of it now started becoming more of a reality of it. So I started thinking and going, okay, so they might actually be for me to do the sport. So we kind of did that year. We did that amateur show. I moved on to another show and I won that. And then we did a few more shows and I just kept on winning show after show. And then we went to did the World Championship in Greece, and I started World Championships. And at that point, I kind of came back and said, okay, right, I want to become a professional bodybuilder. So what exactly do to make this possible? What does it mean? What does it actually entail in? So at that point, I started watching the Ifbb, watching the pro show, actually digging into the history of bodybuilding and watching all the guys from how you started, Jandal, Frank Zane, Arnold Schwarzenegger, all the past Mr. Olympia, the point where bodybuilding actually arrives from to the point where it is now. And, you know, I kind of looked at it, I just like, for me, I was like, you know what? Yeah, this is something I want to do. This is something that I'm passionate about, and I really think I can thrive at. Where normally I've played loads of team sports. You know, in the past, it's always a team sport. You know, you play rugby, you can play your best game, but if the team loses, you're loses. There's no one man doesn't shine, you know, as good as you can, but that's what it is. But now I'm in a sport where it's all based off my ability, of what I can do. And if you put in your heart, you put in your soul, you work hard enough, the result shows that. You're not really pushed by nobody pushes you, nobody holds you back. It's you accountable for whatever you do. So for me, I felt like, hell, this is the ideal sport, man. This is, you know, this is all me. So from that point on, we were kind of like, okay, we did 2014, we finished our 2014 year, and okay, you need more size. You need to seriously stack up some more size. So I'm like, okay. So from that point on, we started proper taking in, working on my diet, putting in, you know, eating the amount of food that is required, and I just kept on growing. So 2015 came along, and here we have the UKBFF, which is the British Championships that happens every once a year. And what happens is the winner of that show, the winner of the overall, one person gets, you know, in the UK, and it's always been that way right from the start. Only one pro bodybuilder gets a pro card in the UK. So every in the UK, everybody in the UK, their dream is to win the British Championships and get the pro card. So, I mean, so many guys have tried, and so many level at this point for me. So we basically prepped up, and we did our first British Championships, and I came third at that show at the men's open. And you know, for most people, they've been doing this show for years and years. They've never made top 6, and I come in and I came third. Now you think most people will think, oh, this should make you proud and happy, like, oh man, your first British Championship, you made third place. Wow, this is a big achievement. You know, I mean, at this point, third place, you go into magazines, they put you in magazines, and I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, this sucks. I should have won. You know what I mean? I'm sitting there going, no, man, that ain't good enough, you know?
Yeah.
So you know, took the year off again, say, okay, no, this is happening. So went back to train, you know, 2016 came along, did, I think 2016, we did the British again, and I fell down to 4th place.
Oh, geez.
So you know, at this point, it was like, okay, you know what? Nah, this is really not, I don't care. This ain't happening, you know? And everybody keeps telling me, look, you've only the second year, your second 2 year of bodybuilding. You're moving too fast. Don't just take for what it is. But, you know, and time now, I'm like, yeah, okay, you know, I got through it fast. But at the time, I'm thinking, no, I don't care. I need it now. I didn't. So when we then moved into 2017, we did a few shows that year. We did Arnold Classic in Europe. We made top 5 in Arnold Classic Europe. We came in and we did the British Championship, and I was second. And then right at that point, you know, we got another show that happened in Italy, which was an international show in Italy, the Diamond Cup. So I literally was a week after the British. I flew off to Italy and I did that show, and then I won the overall in that and got my pro card, you know. And at that point, it was like, okay, this is it. You know, you're feeling like, now I'm going to go dominate and conquer the world. You know, everything is great. Everything is gravy. But, you know, then we took time off, and then we talked about, okay, we're going to do as a pro, take a year off and come in 2018 and do our first show and plan everything towards that end. But at the same time, you know, the whole time we've been doing this, it's just been me and my girlfriend that's been working everything out. You know, my diets, my training, everything is just working between us. So we kind of like, at the whole thing, taking the process of figuring our body out, figuring out how to get us to how to make, you know, how to get my body to grow. And at that point, so we had 2018, they did the EVLS in Prague, the EVLS championships there. So we kind of flew out to there, and I did my first pro show in that point. And I gotta say, man, there's the amateurs, and then the pros. The reason why they say it's a pro level, there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
And you know what? That day, I remember I was backstage, and you know, taking the fact, if you kind of think about experience, this whole time I've been watching the Olympia, I've been watching the big pros, I've been watching Rowley, you know, Phil Heath, Kai Greens, the big guys, Dexters, and everything else. And I was literally watching them like 2 years prior. So now we're backstage, pumping up for the pro show, And Rolly walks through the door. Nathan walks through the door. These guys that you've been watching on TV and you're watching on like DVD and Generation Iron and all that. Now you're standing backstage pumping up with them. And I'm looking at Rolly for the first time and I'm thinking, what the hell is that? Like, how is that even humanly possible? Like, what the hell? You know, and I think that was the first time where you kind of see like, okay, now I see what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Now I see why they say, yeah, there's levels, you know. I remember just seeing Rolly backstage and thinking, okay,
It's a big
that shit is crazy, and I want that. I want to be, I want that. That's a big gap. That's a lot of muscle. That's what I want, you know. So we came on stage, and obviously that was a real eye opener for me because I was like, wow, you know, first pro show, exciting, everything else. So we came on stage and I pro show, you know, and got my first pro check, and I was like, yes, you know, it was like the first time getting a check, getting everything else. So it was exciting and it was buzz, but at the same sort of like a eye opener because for the first time you see, okay, where you at and where everybody, where the pros are at, you know. So you can now you're taking notes and thinking, okay, that's how much road and how much space I got to build up to catch up to even get to that point. So we kind of did that, and we did 2 more shows after I came 5th. And I'm thinking, no, for the first pro debut, coming 5th in a big show like Prague, that's a big deal. I'm happy with that. I'm thinking, okay, and that show had quite big names in it. If I'm going to go on to my next show, which was in Italy again, I'm thinking, hell, it doesn't have that much names in it. I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to win this one, definitely, you know. So we went in, and I remember that all guys, something in, you know, and 24 pros is no joke. So we show up in that show, and I got my ass, like, seriously. I mean, you know, for the first time ever, I was in the first call out in a bodybuilding show. And where you're standing there and they're calling out of names and you're not in it, and it's like, okay, that's what it feels like, you know, be there. And you're watching these guys go at it. It's like, whoa, okay, this hurts. Yeah, it's a lot. You know, it really knocks you down. You're like, wow, I didn't even know what that felt like. But this feeling is not something I want to feel anytime soon. You know, so came in that show and I was the second caller. I came out 8th in that show. You know, it kind of crushed me. And I was thinking, man, this is crazy. So 2 weeks later, did another show in Romania and then felt as 11th. So at this point, you're just thinking, man, this is what the hell? Like, what's going on here? You know? But then, you know, I spoke to a few guys and we got some advice and they spoke to me and they kind of, especially like old pros have been doing for a while, like Jeff Beck and a few nice guys from the US. They spoke to me and they just kind of giving it, you know, look, bro, you're thinking way too ahead. You know, take it. This is what it's like. This is everybody has to start at the bottom and everybody has to work their way up. It's just how it goes. Don't get disheartened just because you didn't just come in and just sweep through. It doesn't work like that. You know, people think that some guys become an overnight star. No, you got to work 20 years to become an overnight star. It doesn't just, you don't just get it.
Yeah,
you know? So after a while, you know, I listened to them.
8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it takes time. You know, nobody just gets it. People say, "Oh, he's an overnight star," but now it takes a long time to become an overnight star. So I kind of like, okay, took their advice to heart, and then took some time, had the off season, got a coach at the time to work through my off season, played through, put on quite a lot of size, and then 2019 came through, and you had the British Grand Prix, which was basically the first time they bring that show back here in the UK, the first pro show in the UK in about 2 years, you know, in gap. Yeah. So they had the British Grand Prix, and basically had me in the show. You had Nate in there, actually. You had James on there. You had quite a few top British pros in there. So my idea was, okay, I've already stood next to Nathan in Prague, you know, and I've seen how good he was. So my idea is, okay, then because in there they have that density and then look that it takes years to put on.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna just come in with as much size. I'm going to put on as much size as big as I can and make a statement that way. So we then did the British Grand Prix, and that for me that was like one of my best shows so far. Came in that show and came second.
I remember that.
You know, got over most comparison with me and Nate next on stage going at it. And for me, I felt like, okay, you know, for once I actually saw that, okay, the hard work that you put in, it does pay off. It might not pay off when you expect it to, but eventually it will if you just keep your head down and keep pushing, you know. And for me, that was like, okay, yeah, that was a year for me for sure. To actually take a lot away from it and think, okay, we found a formula, it's working. You know, it's every year I'm improving, every year I'm getting better at it. So this is just something that you got to work on and just keep going at. So we kind of did the British Grand Prix, went to Chicago, did the Chicago Pro, came 6th in Chicago, and then went to Portugal and came third at it. And it's just kind of built up that way. And then that was 2019, and 2018 was 2020 was supposed to be the year we were supposed to come back again, and obviously the whole Corona thing started, and I ended up getting stuck out in South Korea, and yeah, that just became a whole,
the whole journey.
We were watching you with Andy. With the
that's one way to put it.
We were talking about it with Andy in your room with your bands and
Yep. That was definitely something I was not planning to, but it's just like it was a mindset. I
was gonna say that wasn't even the start of your worries. You tried to do what was show in America.
Yep.
That went all
at the airport.
Wrong.
Yeah. Yep. Literally all prep, showed up at the airport. And you got turned away from flying out to a show the Thursday before the show was on the weekend. So you kind of think, man, are you crazy? After going through by this point I was already prepped for 6 months. I always been prepping for a show for 6 months. So you get turned away at the airport, was like, are you kidding me? And then 2 weeks later, I think it was not even 2 weeks, a week later, flew off to South Korea, thinking, okay, 2 weeks quarantine, okay, train in the hotel, you can keep your shape, keep your fitness in there, do whatever you can to just maintain that, come out of quarantine and do the show. And then we did all that, and mindset and everything pushed through all that. On the day before I was about to get released from the quarantine hotel, the show got postponed by 2 weeks. So you just gotta sit there going, are you kidding me? Like, you gotta understand, the South Korea quarantine is not like you're in a hotel and you're having a time in a hotel. You're literally locked in a room and you can't leave. You're not allowed to walk outside the room door.
Yeah, it's like a prison.
For 14 days straight. Yeah, it's literally full on prison. They deliver your food at the door. That's it. And you're in there for 14 days. So at that time, your mindset is basically, look, I choose to be in here. I choose to do this. I choose because I want to get through this one. So hell, do whatever it takes and make it something that you'll forever remember. So we just kind of went through it. Just sad that the day I was about to come out, then you got the news that the show was postponed, and they basically gave me an option that, okay, do you want to stay out and do the show, or do you want to fly back to the UK? So I'm like, well, I've been here 2 weeks. I'm not going to turn around and go home now. What's the point? So I end up staying for another 2 weeks just to make sure to make it on stage. So yeah, crazy journeys.
Yeah. But I remember it getting postponed, and I thought to myself, actually, well, at least now you might get some time in the gym and eating proper food for 2 weeks.
Yep.
But then it suddenly came out that the show was cancelled.
They closed the gym. Yeah. Oh man. Because first off, they opened the gym for a week, and I was like, okay, cool. Went to the gym for a week, and then after a week, they're like, oh, we're closing all the gyms. I'm like, come on. You just look at it going, come on, man. Seriously? And at that point, I think after that point, when you take hit after hit after hit, you probably just get one and you just smile. You just start laughing. You just go, well, what more can I say? It's pretty much expected that something was going to go wrong again. Because even when they called out and they said, okay, you know what, guys, the way things are right now, we're going to have to do, if we're going to do the show, we have to do it literally low key. We can't let anybody know. We have to be just the athletes, no guests, no nothing. Keep it under the radar. We're going to announce the show is canceled, but we're going to run it in the background. So I'm like, okay. And they basically said to us that, look, we have to sign a contract, keep it low key. If anybody lets out the show is happening or anything, we have to cancel it. And
wow,
during this whole process of a week of waiting, thinking, is this going to happen? Is it not going to happen? I think it's like your peak week and you're trying to keep your stress down, but every single day, the government was making changes. So any day now, you're going to hear the show is not happening anymore. It's canceled. So literally, it was a Thursday. It was literally Friday before the show, and I'm sitting there, show is next day, and I'm thinking any minute now they could tell me the show is canceled. So even then, the stress and just thinking of it, you're thinking, okay, I'm supposed to be literally at this point be the most deepest focus I can to get myself ready for the stage. But at the same time, I don't even know if I'm going to make it to the stage or not, if the show isn't happen. So and you calling promoters every day, you like asking, is everything? I think, no, don't worry, we'll sort it, don't worry. So just nothing's changed. But then at the same time, you hear in the news, they say, no public gathering, no this, no that, no this. And you're thinking, okay, this is, I don't know what like, So unfortunately, when I had, they ran it down, it kind of happened. And you're thinking, man, after that, I have never been that stressed going into anything ever. Because that was like, wow, what kind of, like, even the morning of the show, you woke up and you're thinking, okay, the show is tonight. But even on that day, you're thinking, anytime they could call me and say, look, we can't do the show anymore. So at no point did you actually feel for certain that you were going to be on stage. So there was no point you actually had that full conviction that, okay, it's happening, I'm gonna go, let's do it. You just literally, okay, well, if I get to go on, if I don't, well, I can do this.
And
yeah, that was definitely
that takes a lot of mental strength. That takes a lot of mental strength, because I've seen people fall apart at the slightest thing going wrong. Maybe they forget something before a show and they gets trying, and we end up pulling out.
Or they don't get a tan right, or you don't get some. Exactly. So you could just imagine, like, after being there, at this point, I've been there for 4 weeks, and you're thinking all that time, all that sacrifice, all that effort, and now you're literally a day away, and there's a chance that it's not even going to happen, and you kind of trying to keep positive and keep focused and stay there, but you're thinking, it's been bad news every single step of the way, and you're almost in the back of your mind thinking, how is there not going to be another bad news falling at this point? How is this actually going to happen? So when you come into that, you can't. There's only so much positive, so much strength you can have after that point. You just think, man, I just want to get on, get it, and just get out, And so, that was definitely.
At the time, were you communicating with the coach, like, with what to do for it, or are you just?
Oh yeah, all the time. Yep. So, because obviously, normally when this is one of those things, like when you're normally that close to a show. Yes. At that point, my girlfriend still prepping me, and she was here in the UK.
Yeah.
So I was obviously in Korea for myself. So, especially coming that close to a show, full well that 2 weeks, like 2-3 weeks before a show, your mindset is completely untrustworthy. You look at yourself in the mirror 1 minute and you think, okay, I look great. And then you look 2 minutes later, you go, actually, no, I look like crap.
Yeah.
And then you try to change everything and try to put everything, and you shouldn't. And it happens a lot. It happens. I mean, people say, oh, it doesn't. It happens to everybody.
Yeah.
You look in your mirror and you see, all you see is, this is rubbish. I don't want to do this. This is crap. And then 5 minutes you come back and go, oh, actually, no, it's not that bad. So your mindset is so untrustworthy. So normally, So at this point, you normally have somebody around you. You normally have people around you, especially people that have been through the journey with you, to say, look, it's fine, and talk you down from doing anything stupid, But when you're stuck in a hotel in South Korea on your own with nobody else, and the time zone is so different that you couldn't even pick up the phone to call people at the right time, nothing else to do but analyze your physique over and over and over and over. Your mindset is something else. You literally something else. You just, I remember, and believe me, there's a few times I broke down and I just started crying. I just broke down and started crying, going, you do something, you look at yourself and you feel so bad, and you just think, I've screwed up. I've thrown it all away. This ain't great, and you just break down. And you're calling, I'm calling the missus going, look, I've screwed up, man. Can you just look at me? And we're trying to get the FaceTime and put the phone in the right position and the right lighting to have a look and see if it looks right or not. And you're trying to, and it's definitely an experience, And another thing, like trying to shave by yourself, shave your whole body by yourself. As a big guy, just on your own, trying to shave by yourself. That is not gonna happen. It's just, exactly. I mean, I could barely touch the back of my head. No, but let's try to shave my back and shave everything else. So this is things that you don't think about these things, because normally you just don't think about it. And now you're there and you're thinking, holy crap, I gotta shave everywhere. And how's this gonna work? And then you gotta do the spray tan. You gotta do the tan by yourself.
Wow.
I mean,
yeah.
Seriously, because you have to stand yourself. So let's just say the hotel room was a bit of a state when I left it.
Yeah.
So you have to get a roller and like try to get in position, and the tan is going everywhere. There's furniture, there's the ceiling. I'm just like, let's get it on whatever way it goes, man. And so all these things, you kind of lie, you take for granted, because I remember the time I just felt like laughing. I'm like, this is a story I'm gonna remember forever, because no one's gonna ever say this thing ever again.
No, that's an
No.
experience.
But it was definitely one of those experiences that you come away from, you think, wow, okay, this is definitely interesting. But,
Do you think
but
that
obviously the show
experience has
finally went on.
made you a
Came second in that show.
stronger person?
I think he has. I think very much
I was gonna say,
so he has.
yeah,
Like,
Because I think it really kind of like, because after we did that, we had a show in Alicante, Spain.
yeah,
And our prepping from, after going through obviously what we did in South Korea and that whole mental point, when it came down to prep for Spain, it didn't. I was so relaxed about it that I just felt like oh, the show is going ahead. Okay, cool. We have to travel to Spain, and people were saying, okay, you couldn't travel, you can't travel, all the whole stuff. At that point, I was just like, you know what, man, I've been through so much worse. There's nothing you can tell me now that could possibly make me feel like, oh my God, I need to stress out anymore. So I just felt completely chilled about it.
yeah,
I mean, even to the point where when they did the British Championship a few weeks after, the weekend the show was about to happen, the British went into lockdown just a week after before the show. So the promoters had to move the show forward before the lockdown happened. Like literally 2 days before they had to move the show forward. Literally in peak week, they have to move everything forward. So a lot of people obviously lost their mind stressing. I was sitting there and going, yeah, man, that's at least they're doing a show, man. That's nothing. That's a piece of cake. So
yeah.
I think personally, it makes persevering and going through those things a lot easier.
yeah. I think I was one of the people who were shocked after the Korea show. I expected you to take like a long break to just sit and be like, okay, I need
We're
to
done.
take a chill pill. But when you did the two shows, that was
And because,
unexpected.
yeah. I mean, personally, probably I should, because obviously with the way the Korea show really went, and I felt like I could have been better at it, because I worked all year to finally get on stage. And then when the package I brought to that show, I felt like, okay, it could have been better. And I didn't want to end the year looking at it going, like, is that it? Is that all I went for? Is that show? When there was a lot of variables that you could have easily sat there and blamed and say, oh, it was because of the situation, it was because of this, it was because of that. But that's not my thing. I feel like if I don't bring what I want, I blame myself for it. I can't really push it going. It's just the case. So I just felt like, for me, I felt like, look, I knew I could bring better. So when we came to do the Spain show and all the show, I felt like, look, I got energy, I got the heart, I can still push through to bring a better package. And that's what we basically wanted to do when we came to Alicante, was, look, surely try to bring a better package than you did. Bring your best package for once, and see what happens. So for me, that was one of the drive that kept me pushing, even when after I know my body is already so tired and needed a break anyway.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. It's been a long road for you. As you said, you prepped 6 months before Korea. And then you did Korea, and then you were pretty much back into a couple of weeks off and went back into prep.
Yep. And carried on going all the way to November.
Like a 50.
We started prep in January 2020.
You had like
and it was wow.
Weeks of prep.
Seriously, and you think about going through that. Would you ever look at prep or 16 weeks prep and think, oh my God, it's long? You think, nah, come on, man, this is a piece of cake. This is no big deal at all. Seriously.
I'm sure it's changed your whole perspective of like prep and competition, but in a good way, because now your 20-week preps will be like,
no problem.
Let's do this. And especially if everything.
Of course, as much as like, obviously, as much of the time. Yeah. Of course. Like I said, as much of the time, you kind of think like all the bad things that happens along the way and the negative things that happen along the way. When I was in South Korea, I lost my job, a lot of things. But there was because of the amount of effort I actually put into it, I got a sponsor that actually picked me up and said, look, we see what you're doing, and we definitely think we want you on our team and want you on board. So along the way, you kind of think, I put a lot of effort to try to win a show and make it to Olympia, but you always seem to focus a lot on the end goal and not on the process of what you're actually doing.
Yeah.
And when you step back and look at it now, the end goal is not really what visions you actually remember. All you remember is the process and everything you did and all the good things that actually happened along the way. And you look at it and you go, wow, okay, yeah, I see how that made me a better person. Didn't see at the time, you know, but now looking at it, I see how that made me a stronger person and actually made me think, yeah, this is definitely, I understand now why I went through that, you know.
Because as you said, it wasn't just for show. You lost your job,
No.
but then on the flip side of that, you picked up a sponsorship. And so your life actually changed quite a lot during that whole process. Okay.
Just, oh yeah, drastically, you know. And you can imagine like it's not something you sort of plan out during that process. It's not something that you were thinking was going to happen, you know. I thought, okay, my mentality was, okay, take an annual leave, go to Korea for 2 weeks, do a show, come home, get on with life as normal. You know, at no point did I think, okay, this is what the outcome of that was going to be. But, you know, you just kind of just rode the wave as it came, you know, hit after hit. And you just think, okay, hell. And every time when those things happen, you always feel like it was a challenge to say, okay, how badly do you really want to do this? How badly are you really saying that you really want to do this badly enough to actually go through another hit and go through another setback? Or are you going to pack it in and go, oh no, that's too much for me. I don't like this. I don't love this sport enough to do it. So for me, I felt like it was a year where it truly tested me to find out, am I genuinely serious about this, or is it just a fad or passing phase?
Yeah.
You know.
100%. 100%.
So, I wanted to ask your preps. Since you started, it's your girlfriend who's done all your nutrition or your training, or there's been like a part where you've used any other coaches?
Yeah. Yeah, but the thing is, we've had two coaches in the past, and both times it's just kind of like they've helped us for a short time and it's kind of fallen out and not end up well.
Yeah.
But it's just because she's always been there right from the start, you know, she's always kind of, it's nothing like having your girlfriend as your coach and watching you eat anything you eat at home. And you know that you can't cheat, you can't lie, you can't fall out, you can't make up anything. You talk about staying at home and there's no snacks, like no snacks at all.
I know
there's no shopping, no snacks, nothing. You know, you're starving in prep. You're starving in prep. You can't even have a biscuit.
Yeah, your check-ins are different. They're live check.
Oh.
Just wake up.
Yeah. Live check-ins, right there. Like, okay, your check-ins like as you pay as you go, man. It's literally, you know. But yeah,
no special lighting.
But this year, you know, no special lighting. No, you know, I can alter the photo a little bit and make it look better. No, we see this thing as it happens, you know. So, you know, there's no miss cardio, there's no miss meals, there's no miss anything, you know. So it's like live. But for the first time this year, I'm actually working with a coach at the moment, which is coach from the US, John Meadows.
Oh, nice.
He's
For
the first time, I started working with him a few weeks ago.
He's an amazing guy.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, always. So just started working with him a few weeks ago. So hopefully he's going to carry me through this year.
Yeah.
He's great. But I've seen your off season. You're looking pretty big at the moment.
No, yeah.
We're over 300 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
How is it feeling being
because we try, as I said, now, you know, like especially being a taller guy. Oh man, it's hard work. It's hard work because I think people underestimate the amount of food that is required to eat to get that weight and then stay at that weight. You know,
stay at that weight.
It's a lot of food. Yeah, it takes a lot of food, and you constantly eat it. You're constantly food in, and it's not like it's food that you like or enjoy either. So it's just constantly
same food over and over again.
You know.
Like this.
Yep.
There's always that one meal at least you look forward to. Like I always tell Clea, for me it's my post-workout, my rice and
there isn't.
No, I only have the same food over and over again, Leon. I don't even have any extras. I just literally have the same meal over 4 times a day.
It's like clockwork, oh crap.
Oh, training.
Oh,
Well, I'm getting ideas. I think I should be your coach now.
oh yeah.
She pretty
And
much
then
is.
I can watch exactly what you eat. I'll be like, yeah.
She's like
there.
she's like my coach. I
Oh.
haven't
Oh,
had chocolate in so long because I like chocolate and I haven't had it in so long.
Oh, yeah.
I eat and I'm like, oh man, like let me just look at it. And that for me is enough. So I'm sure if she's
I can't have it in the house.
Oh,
I can't have it in the house.
you're like Samson, no chocolate in the house.
oh, I understand that feeling.
I have nothing unless Kaya's home from school. If Kaya's home from school, I have to get the girls' stuff. Actually,
Yeah.
we got a couple of bars of chocolate for Easter hidden in a cupboard, which I won't touch because it's their Easter. But like Valentine's Day, Kaya came home and she bought me a donut for Valentine's. I said, "There you go, Dad." And I couldn't say I can't really eat this. It's not in my meal plan. So I just message the coach, donut for Valentine's Day, and you can't go to your door.
Yeah.
So
This
it's
one is
getting
exemption.
So how
Oh, man.
you, I guess you can't say the foods, but like how much calories are you on, say, in your off season?
I
Like
mean,
how much
we sort of looked at it like last week. I mean, last week we're thinking of it's probably about between 7.5 and 8,000 calories a day.
and
I
I'm-
have at the moment.
oh my gosh. And
Wow.
I was complaining about like when I mentioned
Yeah.
5K, everyone looks at me like how does Clear deal with you?
That's
7.5.
Wow, that's a lot of
No,
food.
that's
Oh,
like 5
Yeah.
meals a day.
Wow.
so
That's the full-time
so
job eating.
6 meals a day plus 4 shakes in between.
Yeah, because you do need that protein, man. That is a lot of calories.
Yeah. So it's constantly like food in all the time, you know. And you know, when you're having that much food constantly, you just feel like you might as well just be drip fed. Just put a drip in your arm and just keep food coming in.
professional eater.
If by the I think if
Clearly.
digestion wasn't a big deal for bodybuilding, a lot of guys would easily just go on.
Yep. Oh, easily.
But here's the thing, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
I think this is one of the things people don't realize about being a professional bodybuilder. It's not like, you know, everyone, you might have young guys who say, I want to get a pro card. But they don't actually realize, you know,
They don't.
what
They
actually
really
goes into that. And once you've got your pro card, what goes into improving.
After that, yeah. True.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I think getting the pro
Because honestly, for me, as much as you know, when you're coming up, you're chasing the idea of a pro. Yeah, you're chasing up, you know, the idea of getting a pro card, and you're chasing that so much, and you get it, and you're like, yes, I've got it, great, I feel good now, I'm a pro. But you don't understand that now it's like going back to the beginning and starting again, because
Yes.
you're now at a level where everybody is as good, everybody trains hard, everybody is as talented, everybody's great. So now you're at the bottom of that ladder again, and you're thinking, okay, you can't. What you've been doing before is all nice and cute, but now you need to find a way of stepping that up 2 more levels just to keep up. You know. So yeah, I think you don't, because especially with the pro, they don't do it in divisions like you do in amateurs. It's not like, okay, someone who's been doing it for 4 years can go up against someone who's doing it for 4 years. This one, you just get thrown in the deep end. You know, you could be going up against Mr. Olympia one show. You can going up against guys doing 20 years one show. It doesn't matter. You just throw it in deep end and swim. Good luck, and that's it. So whether you like it or not, you could be in a pro show where every single person there has been doing this for over 20 years, and they're way, way ahead of you. And there's nothing we can do about it. That's just the way it is. You just have to, hope that you float.
Yeah. And we wanted to ask also,
And I suppose that's a funny thing about bodybuilding as a sport. So I think it's a slight delay. I was going to say, bodybuilding as a sport, everyone's still progressing, moving forward, rather than like other sports. When you become a pro, you're a pro. You're like, once you're a professional footballer or professional rugby player, you're a professional footballer, professional rugby player. It's minor changes to your game. But bodybuilding, everyone's continually improving. So you can't stand still.
moving. Yep, everybody's progressing. Everybody's getting better. You can't, and the training method that you have to constantly keep improving it and keep pushing the marks, keep pushing the boundary, or else you fall off and that's it. I see you're gone, you're done. So you have to constantly keep pushing them out, constantly keep improving, finding ways to improve. And if you don't, you get passed by everybody, and you get left behind.
Yeah. So what was your inspiration towards posing? Because posing is not really, it's not really awarded in the point system. So what, you can easily just go there and do a front double, and still get points. But what made you actually take it? I'm still going to pose regardless of not awarding points for it.
Yeah. Well, I think for me, it's like when I started watching bodybuilding, when I started watching on YouTube and watching over again, I started looking at the guys that had things I like. I saw Kai Green perform in the 2013 Mr. Olympia, and I was like, whoa, Jesus, wow, that is incredible. And then I started digging backwards, and I seen Sean Ray, Lex Wheeler, Kevin Lavrone, them guys, Lee Labrada, all them guys pose.
Yeah.
And you couldn't take your eyes off them on the stage. You're watching them, and you're almost just like in shock. You're looking, going, wow, this is beautiful. This is wow. So for me, that is something I loved about bodybuilding, and kept me focused on it. So when I started bodybuilding myself and going to shows, I remember sitting in shows and sitting with the audience, and the posing round would come in. Half the audience would leave.
Oh.
Everybody would get their phone out, and they start playing, and you wonder why. But then you look at all the guys and what they're doing for posing, and you're thinking, why would anybody want to watch? Why would anybody want to stay there? They just think, well, they don't take it seriously, so why should I take it seriously to watch them?
Yeah.
They come in. It's like you don't put a routine, you don't put anything together, you don't do a routine, you don't do anything. But yeah, you want the applause, and you walk around doing this, and you're thinking, come on now, have some respect, Exactly, have some respect. Come on, you're a professional, you're an athlete, you're supposed to be doing something. This is something you're passionate about. Have some respect to put all the work in. So for me, I always felt like, if I'm ever going to stand on stage, I want the fact that they know, anytime they know that I'm going on stage, they should sit up and go, okay, yeah, we know this is whatever he's going to do is going to be something that's worth watching, And for me, I feel like, look, take pride in that, take pride in knowing that even though you're not getting judged for it, even though you're not getting paid for it, even though you're not doing anything for it, but in pride in what you're doing is what makes you put that little bit effort in to say, look, I'm an artist, I put this together, have a look at what I've brought, have a look at it, just here, let me entertain you with what I can do, So for me, I always felt like, you got to put that little bit of effort into just doing something.
No,
that's the thing. Very few pros are putting that much effort in. There's very few, even at the Olympia level, guys. Some of the posing at the Olympia wasn't great. I mean, you look at guys who are posing the open. People like Samson, you've got Sergio, you've got Hunter's a decent poser. But outside of those guys, actually, it's pretty poor. And it's I quite like. I really enjoyed your posing routine at Canty. Actually, I remember watching it, thinking it's just a shame we're not scoring posing. The Canty shows actually posing.
And I think maybe because they used to score in the past, they used to be posing rounds used to be scored. So in the past, people took it seriously, and they actually put in a lot more effort. Hold your midsection in, pose beautifully, show the art side of it. Put a little more effort. So when they threw that out of the wind, because there's been shows where myself, I've looked at it and go, man, should I bother? Should I really put that much effort in if you don't get anything for it? But then you stop and go, come on now. You didn't get into the sport for that. You didn't get into the sport with that mindset. Do something. You're going to do something. They're expecting you to do something. So come on, keep that fire in you. Do something either way. So when the posing round always comes up, I always feel like, look, this is time for me to bring out my personality and bring out my vision of what I want to represent. So I'm like, okay, hell. So when, like you said, when you watch the Alicante show, I was thinking about, what, hell, I want to bring Africa to the freaking round. I want to bring the Africa team to the stage. So I started off with the nice slow music, you know, the Western music.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of like, okay, he's pretty, but he's nice. And I was like, no, okay. Then I switched it off to the African tune, and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
this is where I'm from. This is Africa. This is me, you know. And I switched it up with that, and I was like, yeah, you know, this is something I always wanted to do. And for me, I always wanted to do that on the Olympia stage. I want to represent that on the Olympia stage and say, yeah, Africans, we do have bodybuilders, we do have talent, and I'm going to show it. I'm not going to show you rightly how we do it traditionally on our side. So for me, that was one of those things that I felt like, yeah, show your personality and show where you're from, represent that, you know.
Love that.
Yeah. So who's your favorite like poser of all time? Like your like top 3?
Oh man. Whew. Okay, we go. Kai Green has to go in there completely because he was one of the first bodybuilders I saw pose, and I was just like, "Whoa, what is that even humanly possible?"
Yeah.
You know, somebody that big dude does that. Okay, Flex Wheeler. Yep, Flex Wheeler is another one. He's the way he's on stage. He just glides on stage, and he just smoothly moves from one pose to another pose, and just smiles and does his thing, and you just watch him thinking, "Dude, you having so much fun there. I'm watching you, and I'm having fun watching you." You know, he just glides, he just gets it done. You know, and then Sean Ray, another one. Sean Ray, you know, just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. You know, small guy, he opens up and he does his pose, and you can watch his routine over and over and over and never get bored of it. You know, every transition, every move he makes is just you look at it and just go, man. Even if I didn't know anything about muscles or bodybuilding, I could watch him and go, I don't know what he's doing, but that's beautiful. You know?
Yeah.
So for me, those are the kind of guys that just like they really make me want to do that. You know?
But with like Sean Ray's era, they made it like fun, as in they used music that's contemporary. Like he posed a lot to Mariah Carey and things, songs that people.
Yep.
Yeah, they
knew, and they were like relate to.
Yeah, they enjoyed the posing, and like you said, at least when during the shows, like no one was, you know, like going off or doing stuff. They were all engaged.
No.
So it's really nice.
No, because you wanted to watch the posing round. You wanted to watch what they bring. You know, I mean, then they always use the most up to date music.
Yeah.
You know, and you want to say, oh man, let's see what they're gonna bring this year. And it's always exciting. It's always like, okay, let's, you know, it brought a lot of fun to it. But now, you know, you got the posing round comes across, and everybody's hoping that he finishes very quickly. Like, oh, come on, just wrap it up.
But I miss it, like Melvin Anthony body popping, and you haven't seen. You know, I mean, Kai was kind of the last one. Yeah, you see Sergio, but you know, Kai was never great at his mandatories. But when he did his posing round, the whole audience were like on their feet.
Wow.
Yeah, I watched,
and this is it. You know,
I watched him pose live, and it's something else. Like you can just feel the emotion, and like he enjoys. Like you were saying, you can see he's enjoying himself, which is amazing.
But I think the only way we're going to get it back is to start scoring it again. But I don't think there's many pros that don't want what's happening.
Yeah, but that's it. Because if you don't give them a reason to want to do it, why would they? I mean, this is the mindset that we have now. Is if you're not getting rewarded or something for it, you just stand there going, well, why bother putting the effort when it's not going to change the outcomes of the result whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I could walk on stage and just walk around hitting most musculars, or come out and do the routine. It doesn't make a difference to anybody. So until they bring out that idea of, okay, we're going to reward you or score you for it, most guys would just be like, well, doesn't really matter, does it? You know?
But I suppose that's why the classic physique's getting more popular with audiences, because you know the posing's still there. It's still very much part of it.
Exactly. You know, and them guys, they're working hard to make sure that they have that. You know, every year you watch them and you watch them on stage, and the way they hit classic poses and the way they all transition and they do everything on pose. It just looks like they're willing to put just that little bit more effort to get in where they are than the open guys are, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, open guys, we get it. You're big, you're muscular, you're huge, but that can only impress so far. you gotta then show effort, because you can't just come in big guy and walk around and hit most muscular and expect you to applaud, start clapping your hands for me. You only go so far for a while. People are like, what else are you gonna do? It's not, yeah, okay. The last 12 guys just did exactly that. So why should we carry on doing, So yeah, so I think it has to be something to make it finally shift,
Oh, nice.
Yeah. How much you practice your posing yourself, like during your prep?
All the time. I mean, when in prep, I do it every day. Every day, 10 minutes after I finish cardio in the morning, and then 10 minutes or 10 to 20 minutes at the end of my training session in the evening. But constantly, even in the off season, I'm still practicing posing. And then when it comes down to like putting routines and stuff, with routines with me is throughout the whole time we're in the gym and you listen to your music like everybody does. You listen. Everybody's got a playlist they love the most when listening to music. And through the year, you listen to different tracks. You listen to songs that you like. And the whole time for me is I'm picking out songs that really move me when I train. When that one tune always comes when you train, you're like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm ready to go. This is my tune. That I'm picking out songs like that, and I'm thinking, for me, in my head, I'm thinking, I'm opposed to this. This song, yeah, it really gets me fired up. It really gets my buzz going. Yeah, I really enjoy it. So guess what? I want to pose to it. So we literally, I mean, there's more sessions. We'll finish the session. I'm like, okay, we'll go to the hall, the studio, and I'll play the music on. I was like, look, just play it and just put the camera on me and let me just go whatever happens. And I would just do posing right there on the spot without actually thinking about it, and just do it like that and say, look, I like the way that feels. Yeah, I'm going to take that to stage. And that's basically how most of them routines are basically we just come up with them, in the gym after training because of music I like. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll take that. And I'll do that later,
So
For everyone listening, I think you're now doing posing coaching as well, aren't you? I see that in one of your stories.
Yes, I am.
So
yes, I am.
hit the man up, everyone. Slide into his DMs for coaching.
Yep.
So
yeah, we'll do it on Skype or Zoom call. Yeah.
So what are your next off-season plans? Any competition plans this year?
So as it sits this year, we're trying to obviously grow as much as possible for the first half of this year. We just try to put as much size as we can. And then obviously with everything that's happening with the world still, we don't want to risk having another 2020 of jumping looking for shows. So we're going to wait to the second half of the year. This time play it safe, wait till the second half of the year when we know that there's definitely dates that are definitely going to happen. And then we're going to pick one of them shows to actually do. So right now, we don't know what show, we don't have a clue, but we just know that it will likely be the second half of the year when we know that dates are more for certain and you're actually prepping for something that's actually going to happen. So yeah, we're just waiting for that.
Yeah, sounds like a safe plan.
Yeah.
yeah. I don't want another 2020 year as much as they, but I don't want another one.
And Samson, so I mean, in Kenya, like bodybuilding is still quite small, not really known. Is that the same in Nigeria?
Yes, I think it is, because I know that they're now sort of growing it, and we get again bodybuilding magazines in Nigeria, and they're not doing like small local shows, and I'm getting guys from Nigeria message me up on Facebook saying, look, we're watching you, we love what you're doing, we see what you're doing and everything else. And it just seems like it's now starting to grow, which is, for me, I'm like, wow, this is great. Something that is never even considered or anything out there. And I see what them guys, the young guys out there, I see what they're doing. And I'm like, wow, you know what? The fact that you can still do it in that conditions where here you got to have 6 meals a day, 7 meals a day. You have to have shade, you have to have a place to train, you have to, but you guys are doing it, just kind of as you can there. I got to be like, wow, that is serious motivation. And that's seriously great work, and I really appreciate to see that actually happening, really.
Yeah, well, you must be such an inspiration and motivation for them.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I think there's just so much raw talent in Africa.
I'm hopefully,
I just think it needs to be more role models.
Yeah.
So, more people like Samson showing.
There's so much talent there. It's just up. Yeah, I just think, if there was, it's just opportunity, that you don't get that much opportunity out there, which is quite sad. You know, you got so many people that are so talented and so genetically gifted, so able and willing to work and really give their heart into something, but there's just no opportunity for it, you know, and it's really sad to see. And I hope that, you know, it grows to the point where you can have more shows in Africa and have more shows in space like more bigger shows that can actually give out more rewards for it and actually see what talents actually come out of the woodwork then.
Yeah.
Like I think you only have, say, like IFBB qualifiers only in South Africa and I think Egypt. Other than that, it's locally, you know,
Yeah, and that's it.
Shows that are made, done locally, local sponsors. So it's nothing like, you know, like something like can get you into an NPC qualifier or an IFBB qualifier. So you have a lot of guys with the passion, you know, ready to work. And traveling is expensive because I've done a show, even Andy, we
Exactly.
do one show a year, and you're like, man, for someone like in Europe, the amount used, they could have done a few shows. So it's really financially it gets hard.
Yeah, definitely know the difference. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that, you know, it does grow as an audience. They do grow big enough where at least the IFBB can take notice enough to say, okay, right, we need, even though it's in South Africa, but we need like a proper pro qualifier and proper show actually happen because we have the talents from there. I mean, Big Ramy, he's from Egypt, he's African.
Yeah.
You know. So you get, you know, William Bonner, you get top guys out from that part of the world that really, you know, there's talent there. There's, you know, crazy amount of talent there. And it's just opportunity of, you know, giving them a chance to actually shine and bring it out.
Yeah.
So, you know, hopefully I'm hoping that it does start to grow, but start to take notoriety to actually start making it big enough for them, you know, to start saying, okay, right, we can have shows over there. We can have shine some light into that side of the world.
Yeah.
I think it is growing for sure. And yeah, hopefully we'll just need more money really.
I guess
like sponsors.
And that's it, you know.
And,
once the sponsors, I guess, see that it's worth investing in, it could be bigger than, you know, a lot of other sports that because everyone likes the ball sports, so it could be as big as them. So hopefully, true. Oh yeah,
Andy, you're back.
Andy, are you back? Oh yeah, you. I think the internet,
internet problems, but yeah, third world problems, you know.
Yeah,
no, it's because even here it's a bit.
Oh no.
Anyway, so do you have it? Which questions for?
No, I think we covered all the questions our listeners said, but I think we did. Now we are really just waiting for the Kenyan lion to come.
One day. Once.
Yeah, definitely. It should be, man. They really should be. You know, seriously.
Well, there's a few Kenyan compete abroad. I mean.
Yeah, but it's like you said. I went and did the amateur Olympia, and it's just what you said. Like I entered backstage, and I'm like, what? Like this is madness. Like what are guys eating?
What's this?
It was a real eye opener. So
but the thing is, I think, you know, it's like you. Yeah, because I think as long as you don't stop, you know, you don't give up, you keep going. Because the thing is, those kind of scenes can put some people off and think, well, I'm never gonna get there. That's it. But at the same time, you know, you can look at it and go, oh, that's what the body is capable of. So hell, my body is no different than that. I can definitely get there too.
I
it comes to your mindset, right?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was nice seeing the bigger guys, but it was just one of those I didn't expect, and I'm like, I thought we all, you know, like on the same level. So
that's a small mercy in 2020.
It's always a shock. It's always a shock.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like my show cancelled in 2020. It meant I had a longer off season. So, you know, make the most of it. Just keep eating.
Oh, yeah. It's like no rush at all.
Yeah. That's it.
Just keep.
No rush at all, man. You know, it doesn't happen overnight. It really doesn't happen. I tried to make it happen overnight. It still didn't happen overnight for me. So, you really, you know, it really doesn't. So, you have, as long as you you just keep it going and keep ahead and just keep going one day at a time. That's all you can do, you know.
Yeah, oh, nice.
Yeah.
Bodybuilding really is, yeah, you're in it for the long run, and it's just as much mindset as it is
Oh, yeah.
the sort of gym work and all of that.
Yeah, I've even
Patience.
I've
Yep.
been meaning to try your hostile supplements because I'm also a big fan of
Yes.
the word. So soon
Oh,
I'll
nice.
uh,
Nice.
Are they in the UK? Are they in the UK?
They're coming to the UK this year. They'll be in the UK this year.
oh, nice.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to them being in the UK. But I've officially been
When I'm
told they're
home,
going
I'll
to be
pick
in
up
the
a
UK
load.
this year, early part of this year.
Yeah, because
Oh yeah, definitely you should, man. They're absolutely great. I mean, I absolutely love them. You know,
it's easier
seriously.
for us to
There's
deliver.
the clothing, the supplements, everything is like
Ah, nice.
yeah, from the UK and from the States, right?
Oh, good.
Yeah. So Fuad's got a passion. You can tell he's got a passion. So you know it's going to be made for the purpose.
Yeah.
You know?
You're
Exactly.
you're
Exactly
in a
that.
team. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he picked me up purely out of passion, so I owe him a lot for that. You know, seriously, I'm really grateful.
Great. Well, Samson, thank you so much for taking the time to come and talk to us. And yeah, I just love your whole story. It's incredible. How you made it through last year. That's just
That's
so inspiring. And yeah, a lot of people look up to
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. And thank you very much for having me on.
And if you ever want to come to Kenya,
yeah.
yep, you let us know.
Oh, 100%. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
definitely 100%. That is definitely on my list. Oh, sure.
Come and do a posy.
We'll get you out on safari.
Be
Yeah.
amazing.
On the
Yeah.
safari.
Oh yeah. Oh man, that sounds amazing. That even sounds better than what I had planned. That definitely sounds amazing. Yeah, 100%. Definitely. I'm not coming. I'm not coming to bodybuild. I'm coming to holiday.
Oh,
Yeah.
holiday, yeah. Holiday and then posing.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yep.
Pose on
Awesome.
safari.
Yeah. Super,
Yeah.
man.
The ultimate routine.
Oh yeah.
All right. Thank you, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Samson, have a lovely weekend.
You too. You too, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Bye.
Yeah.